got a question? Ask Tom on HomeShow Radio.
This is HomeShow Radio live on Facebook and YouTube. Your questions, Tom's answers. Now here's Tom Tynan and Charlie Mosier.
It's getting around dinner time. Getting hungry. But before I eat dinner, before I even know what I'm going to make.
Somebody say dinner?
I know. That's what I mean. I'm just like, gosh, I'm sitting here for 2 minutes waiting to come on going, what am I going to make for dinner? Well, we'll go over that later by myself without anybody's help. Now, we're going to talk about home improvements because I'm the home improvement guru at Sports Radio 610, right?
If you don't say so yourself.
And we're going to talk to guests. We're going to talk to Charlie. He's going to ask me questions. I'm going to answer the questions to the best of my ability. It's kind of like being in front of Congress. Yes, no, yes. I mean, that's the way we're going to do it. No incrimination here. Actually, I'm just going to give you what I think, and you deal with it how you want. And as far as that goes, you saw at the very beginning, I don't know did they see Danny's picture? I saw it up before, but
Danny from
we
the
have
Garden
Danny
Bros?
Milligan, the garden guy. There he is. Look at the guy in the green shirt with the beard. He comes on before me on Saturdays on Sports Radio 610, answers all your gardening questions, 7 to 9. From 9 to noon, I answer your home improvement questions. And on Sunday, Charlie comes on for 30 minutes. You're about to meet him if you haven't. And then I go from 8 to 11 through the whole show answering your questions. So that's pretty much what I do is answer questions.
Well, and what we do here is answer the questions you send us.
Answer questions.
Okay, that's it. Pretty much we're testifying.
Okay, that's pretty much what I do.
Senator, I honestly can't recall.
Yes.
Okay, that's
a
not
yes
answer.
or no answer.
That's
Really?
a yes or no answer.
Okay.
I don't
No
think
yes.
they don't allow those inside the Beltway. It doesn't happen that way. But what we're doing here,
yes and no.
right? Well, the whole idea of Home Show Radio is that Tom wants to help you make your house, a better place for you, make it and do it affordably, or help make sure that you get people you can trust to take care of you. And we have assembled on our homepage a collection of Home Show pros. In fact, let me just show you that. Where is that? Right here. Well, anyway. One of our Home Show pros is joining us today is John Keeler from Glass Doctor. He will be with us.
Wave, John, wave.
That's
wave,
right, John.
everybody.
That's right. Be animated. There you go. Okay, now get out of here. Okay,
so it's moving pictures, as my dad used to say.
That's it. Right. So, but we'll get to John because he's got some great things that you need to know about glass and some of the things that can save you money with the windows in your house. And we're also going to premiere a brand new video we just produced about Glass Doctor, showing how they remade all the glass in a bathroom all over again. And you'll find out more about that when we get to the video. But in the meantime, let's answer some questions, Tom. And by the way, we are live. You're welcome to send your questions in. Yeah. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in. It'll come up on my little screen here, and we'll put it on there, and Tom can answer it live for you as well. But let's get to one that comes from HomeShowRadio.com under the Ask Tom button. Carrie in Folsom, West Virginia, Tom says, what's your opinion of converting a metal tubular barn into a home?
Well, there's an old saying, home is where you hang your hat. So you can pretty much live in a tree and make it a home. But as far as that goes, I have no problem with it. People convert barns all the time. Metal buildings. My father used to tell me he wanted to live in a shop and all he wanted was a cot and a hot plate and a bathroom, and he was fine. So it really is your lifestyle, but as long as you feel safe, you feel comfortable. As far as the structure goes, if it's done right, I have no problem with it. I remember once building a really nice big airplane hangar, and part of that hangar had a very nice 3-story home that the owners lived in, and it was I thought it was quite impressive when we were done, and they loved it. They just go out, get the airplane, fly away, come back, and there's their home right there at their hangar. So it just depends what you want, but metal buildings are fine.
I've seen those subdivisions that have the runway down the middle and the hangars. I think that's awesome. First time I saw that, I said, every now and then I need a reminder that I'm living in Texas.
Yeah, but also remember this at 6 a.m. when the guy's taking off and he's got to run his airplane for 20 minutes before he takes it up off the ground. You ain't sleeping. It's like the guy next door in the suburbs who turns on his his leaf blower at 4 a.m. on Saturday because he's got other things he wants to do later, and it's right next to your bedroom window. So it's good and it's bad.
Hey, I mentioned earlier that you're welcome to add your questions to the show. We'd love to hear from you. All you have to do is put them in the comment area. We're on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And today, we're also going out on the Garden Pros Facebook page and on the Garden Pros YouTube page. So we're on 4 channels. Count them, 4, all at once. So if you have a question...
Well, I'm glad I pumped Danny. My goodness,
Yeah,
I didn't know we were doing that.
Yeah, they'd be...
See, Danny?
Yeah,
You're
Danny's
important
good.
to us.
Danny, good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we got a question came in from somebody who's watching us, okay?
Yes.
Ravip80 says, is a solar exhaust fan better than a radiant barrier to cool down your attic, Tom?
Is this a yes or no question? The answer is no. But I would like to expand if Congress would let me. Now, the fact of the matter is they both do different things. So one can't be better or worse. They're really different. And so you have to answer more than just yes or no. My point has been taken. I won't use it up anymore. The fact of the matter with this, though, is attic ventilation removes moisture in the attic. Radiant barrier stops radiant heat gain from coming in. Totally 2 different things. In fact, if you look at an attic, you have 3 energy issues. One is convection, one is conduction, and one is radiation. Now, convection is hot air rising out. Ridge vent, soffit vents, the most common. If you want to force the airflow, you certainly can with a solar vent. I'm not going to tell you don't have to. I think it's kind of a waste sometimes. I think they're overused. Secondly, you have conduction. That's where you have the R value on the floor of the attic, where you have a hot attic air and you separate it with insulation and probably sheetrock on your ceiling to the air-conditioned space or heated space on the inside. And so you're either trying to contain the heat, well, you're trying to contain the heat both ways, but in the wintertime, which we're getting into now, you're keeping the heat on the inside of the home and not letting it leave. Or if it leaves, it's going to be a very slow process, and that's what the R value stands for in insulation, is resistance of heat flow. Now, in the summertime, like in the Houston area where we do the show, it can get really hot, and that radiant barrier will stop the third method of heat transfer, and that's radiation. And 80% of the heat gain in the attic and on your home through the attic is radiation. So radiant barrier is incredibly important no matter what kind or if you have any at all of attic ventilation.
And the purpose of it is not to cool off your attic.
Not ventilation. The purpose is to reduce the moisture in your attic. So we go back down to the conduction where you have the R value, because the R value, the fiberglass, which I prefer, the formaldehyde free, it will get moisture in it. If it gets moisture in it, its R value drops dramatically. So by keeping it dry, the R value stays at a better rate. It's at the rate that you paid for when you put it in.
So the bottom line is, when he's asking whether an attic fan or a radiant barrier is better, they're different.
See, that's one of those things where somebody says, give me a yes or no answer, and you can't, because they're totally different. You've got to explain the situation.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And so that's why it's not as simple as sometimes people think about yes or no.
Yeah, a lot of times and he says, he just popped in to say, got it. He says, thank you so much. So he got the answer. But yeah, it's one of those things where comparisons, this versus that and so on. The only place where the answer is always no is what's better than bacon.
Oh, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not going down that road. I'm sorry.
All right. So I just want to say
I remember Bill Zach used to do sausage commercials on the radio, right? I'm not going to tell you what brand. And I had the guest with him one day, and he said, so how do you like sausage? And I said, well, Bill, to be honest with you, I'm a vegetarian. That's how I'm unfiltered. I just tell the truth no matter what. I should have lied. Boy, he didn't talk to me for a week. He was pretty upset.
Tom, you lying would no, that dog don't hunt. Hey, I want to say hi to some folk here. Whit is watching us. David, Angela, Steve, Amy.
Wow.
Amy, that's Chad's vivacious and beautiful wife at home watching us. Larry, actually, it could be Chad with Amy's phone. We don't know. But anyway, Larry's watching us. Harlan, is it Elazar? I'm hoping I got that right. And Ricky, it's good to have you all with us here today. Thank you for being with us. If any of y'all or anybody else has questions, feel free to put them in and we'll answer them. Here's another question that came in, Tom. Christopher Smith asks us, is the spray-on radiant barrier a good solution? And do you just spray it on the underside of the roofing deck?
Okay, you got me. The answer is yes.
Next question.
It really is. It really is. But I know everybody wants a little more explanation. There is a spray-on radiant barrier that's not the foil that has to be stapled, or it's already placed on the product, the roof decking, before it goes on in new construction. And it works very well. It was a great invention that has developed into a better product over the years. And it's what you do. It's on the underside of the roof decking. It doesn't have to be pretty. You don't have to have it on thick. Everybody thinks it's a paint. It is somewhat of a paint, but it really just wants to stick there. And it's little pieces of metal inside this surfactant kind of thing that holds the paint or holds the coating to the decking so it doesn't fall down on your head and little tiny pieces. But no, it works well. It's simple to use, and it is something that would be recommended in an existing home. And I certainly would put it in, and it works. It's something I'd recommend. And
it's a one and done thing, Tom. I know we've gotten questions recently about do I need to put it back in after a time? Does it wear out or something? Once you put it in, you're covered, right?
Well, that's true if you put it in right. And here's where a lot of people are going wrong. They're selling aluminum foil products that are being laid on the floor of the attic with the foil facing up. And does it work? It will work for about 36 months or less. But as the dust collects down on the surface in an attic, and you're just going to get dust. I don't care what you say. You're going to get it on there. It destroys its value to where it quits working altogether. At the Florida Solar Energy Center, when I was a younger man and was studying with the people over there, Dr. Philip Ferry, who was the scientist behind all of this with radiant barriers, all of these conclusions, and practical applications. They came up, they did a study with 3 condominiums. One was on the floor, one was on the bottom of the rafters and kind of hung there, and the other one was up against the roof decking. The ones above, because the shiny side faced down, didn't get all that dust on it. The one on the floor of the attic worked for a while, but then stopped working. Plus, they found that you can't perforate it enough to let the moisture from the R value we talked about just a few minutes ago out of the fiberglass insulation. So the R value would start to reduce itself too because the moisture was too high. Now, this research was done in Cape Canaveral, Florida, so it's very humid there, as where we live here in Houston where we do the show. In very dry climates like Arizona, you don't have to worry about the attic ventilation moisture problem that much, but you still don't use a radiant barrier on the floor because of the dust.
I saw a video the other day of somebody talking about how that's not what you're saying is not true. And hang on, I was going to say, so this guy's got the video it laying on the floor of his attic, and the camera pans up, and what does he have on the roof deck? Radiant barrier. And he said, "No, this one still works." Well, how do you know? You got one up there too. You know?
Charlie, was he selling it?
No. It was just one of those YouTube videos I came across.
Okay, because what happened was a lot of those products being sold for the floor of the attic, they came through and they continue to come. It's like the old magnets that would go on the pipes, and sometimes it comes back again. They were multi-level marketing programs where they were selling. I don't know what you call it,
but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, good.
Yeah, somebody trying. Yeah, the old it's one level up from a Ponzi scheme.
Right. Eagle Shield was a big one in Texas.
We got Daniels joined us, and I think it's Julio. No, I say that because it's spelled Julioe has joined us, and I don't know how to pronounce it because, I'm not from here. Anyway, so let's.
Hey, I'm down here in Brownsville working.
Yeah,
I can't pronounce anybody's name. I just say, "Hey, Chief, how you doing?"
Well, listen, I have a bunch more questions that we want to get to out of the mailbag, but it's a quarter after, and I want to get our guest on here. It is John from Glass Doctor is joining us, and you'll find all of our Home Show pros right there on our homepage. You scroll down, and you see how we got them all listed there. You click on his button, and wham, bam, there you are. And he's a man who one phone number is just not enough. So he has a bunch of phone numbers for himself. John, welcome to the show. It's good to have you on with us.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here. Do I need to get sworn in since you guys are giving depositions today?
No, but if you could lean forward a minute, I got to check your temperature here. Hang on a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
I've done
good.
that a few times.
All right. So it's good to have you with us here. Now, Glass Doctor. I mean, when you were telling me everything that Glass Doctor does the other day, you and I were talking. glass showers, mirrors. You fix double pane windows, cabinet glass, all that kind of stuff. Commercial and residential. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're what we used to call a glazier.
That's right. Nobody knows what that means anymore. And every once in a while, we actually do glaze windows. We did today. But that is a rare skill to have.
So explain, what does that mean, you glaze the window?
Well, glass, when it was put in windows in olden times, and sometimes still today, it was held in by a putty. And that putty is just a nasty substance. But you literally have to press it on like a glaze. And that's what holds your windows against the frame. And it hardens over time. And you'll still see it all over Houston. You'll see what looks like rocks, and they chip off around the window. That is glazing putty. Now we can go back in. You can even use, for DIY, you can use white caulking, some type of silicone, to put it around there. If somebody doesn't like, if they see this happening on their home, because it does happen all over, it's typically not a problem other than cosmetics, but every once in a while there'll be some water that will be let in because of all this old putty that is just flaking off and falling off of your window frame.
I had no idea. Tom,
Charlie,
did, of course.
A lot of people don't realize that you use glazing points. These little tiny things that can fly in the air and stick into your skin when you're putting the glass in. And then you take the glazing compound. I did about 25 windows in a historical renovation once. And you work it in your hands real soft and gooey, put it down, and then you take a putty knife and you run it real tight at about a 45-degree angle. It's very time consuming, and that's the way they used to glaze windows. And to get the old stuff off, you're right, John, it's hard as a rock. What we used to find is painting it with lacquer thinner softens it up so you can get it out of there so you can replace the glass. It was tough. It's not easy like it is today.
Yeah, it's nasty stuff.
So,
Yep.
and I know that you guys cover the entire city, right? I mean, you're based in town. You've got somebody who's like up on the north side, way north side. Is that right? And so on.
You bet. We have locations all over town, from Huntsville out to Katy to Cypress, all over Houston.
Cool. Well, we have questions for you that came from all over Houston from our Ask Tom box. So I want to get some of those to you, and then we got your new video that you have not seen yet. And
big reveal.
It's a big reveal. It's gonna, it's either gonna be, or. So you're gonna have to let us know which it is. So let's get right to the questions.
Charlie got a new toy, John.
Oh man.
I know.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's get right to the questions.
Okay.
All right. First one comes from John
Wave.
Porter. He says, we are interested in installing a glass shower door in our doorless shower. What would that entail, John?
Well, the good thing for John and Porter on this one is this is a straightforward job. Most people that want to go from a shower curtain to a shower or to a glass shower probably want a frameless glass shower. And what this means is that almost the entire structure is made of glass, a thick glass. It doesn't require metal around it for protection. It only has the hinges and maybe a few clamps or a U-channel to hold it to the wall. And so it's beautiful, and it's become much more affordable now. So that's probably what John's looking for. And what's the good news for him is this is a one contact job. He doesn't need to get a general contractor involved. He can call any glass and mirror company, and they can get this shower installed for him. Now, sometimes it's even a DIY job. If what he needs to do is he needs to take his dimensions of the width of the shower door that he's looking for, and probably a picture. He needs to give us a text with that picture, or give us a call, and we can give him a quote right over the phone. and send him some pictures of what it might look like. Now, to determine whether it's a DIY job, if he's interested in doing it himself, Home Depot sells sliding shower door kits. Now, they're in standard sizes. So if it's about 60 inches wide, plus or minus an inch, which is the size of most tubs, then he probably doesn't need a custom glass solution. He could go out to his local Home Depot and probably either do it himself or with a handyman. But if it's not one of those sizes, then he needs to call somebody with skill in measuring, get the outages of the walls. That's what a glass company like Glass Doctor can do for him. The process takes about a week. You come out, get a good measure, we fabricate the glass, and then we come back maybe approximately a week later, depending on his specifications. But if he doesn't want to change out the tile, he really only needs to contact one contractor. This is something that's painless, and it's a project he can take on for sure.
Now, see, Charlie, my quick answer to that would have been a call to Glass Doctor. If you read the question, that is the answer, because these guys have to make it anyway. So, and if you're going to do a door, John, I know the sliding ones. My grandmother had them in her home back in the 60s and had like palm trees etched on them and stuff. But I think a step up with you guys would probably be in a good direction.
Can I get palm trees etched on mine if I call you? John, can you etch palm trees on mine if I call me flamingos and stuff? That's a good look.
We've done flamingos, actually.
Sure you can. Yeah.
Okay. Timeless kitsch. All right. So, yep. John asked about a glass shower door, and it just so happens that that's the subject of the video that we did. You recently redid a bathroom, and my understanding is this is a bathroom where you'd already done the glass once before. Is that right?
That's right. We did all the mirrors, the showers, but as you'll hear in the video, there was a problem.
And what a great setup. Let's watch it.
We fabricate the mirrors and cut them just perfectly. We sand them, we polish them, we drill holes in them, and we do the same with the frameless glass showers.
This is deja vu all over again.
We installed a beautiful frameless glass shower in this home several years ago.
Behind this wall, a different contractor left a surprise.
There had been a leak for over 3 years.
Now, everything including the old glass shower is being remodeled.
Because that glass is custom cut to the shape of the tile, all of that glass had to be removed and thrown away.
Teresa had a few questions about where to go with the new bathroom design.
How is the mirror gonna look? Where do we want the mirror? Where do we want the shower? And what kind of glass we want?
When it came to custom glass, she already had that answer.
That's one of the priorities, because that's what's gonna make your bathroom look good.
All of the items in the bathroom have to be custom cut. Everything's measured down to the 16th of an inch and then needs to be fabricated.
The new shower will be frameless. The look is simple. Creating it is not.
The tops of the glasses have to match exactly. There will be exactly a 1/4 inch space in between your door and the strike jamb.
When it's done,
Magic, the way he did it, and there's no water coming out or anything. It's just perfect.
it may look like magic. It's actually very scientific.
We've measured with a laser every surface of that tile to make sure that our glass is perfectly smooth on the walls.
Mirrors to make it look bigger, clean, seamless glass, and an endless supply of style.
Oh my God. This is exactly what I wanted.
From fixing a single window pane to fabricating custom glass for a frameless shower, that's what makes Glass Doctor a certified Home Show Pro. For HomeShowRadio.com, I'm Tom Tynan.
You know, it's like anything else that looks simple. Like you were talking about that shower. It looks so simple, but there's a lot that goes into that, like with the laser measure and all that stuff you had to do.
No. Just bought it from the store.
Oh, it comes in a kit? You just take it out and put it up?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, easy peasy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, I'm sure.
Well, it all comes down to the measuring, the planning, the communication with the customer up front to make sure you understand what the needs are. So and you're working with other contractors and other trades, so if you've communicated well up front, you know what they're going to do, we can all come together well and have a beautiful thing in the end. So I do give you a thumbs up. I don't know. I don't have a fancy little buzzer for that, but the video is wonderful. Thank you.
Nice.
I want to tell you something. If that thing had paint on it, it wouldn't be dry yet, because Chris literally finished that and uploaded it moments before the show, and so he worked a long night getting that thing done so we'd have it today. So Chris Desmond strikes again, another great video. Thank you, Chris. All right, got some more questions for you here, John. This one comes from Cordelia in South Houston. She says, one of my double pane windows appears to have dirt inside of it. The company I purchased the window from has gone out of business. Go figure. So how does this happen, and how do I get it repaired?
All right, Cordelia, how this happens is you have two pieces of glass, and they are connected by a spacer. That spacer is a special seal that keeps the good air in and the bad air out. And it has a desiccant, like a silica gel packet you may get when you buy something off of Amazon. A package of shoes will have this little, looks like a pack of salt. What that does is absorbs the moisture. And that's exactly what this seal does around the two pieces of glass. It absorbs the moisture and it keeps everything out. That seal or spacer has been broken. So it may be dirt in there. It could be fog. In some windows, it looks like a rainbow or oil is formed on the surface. All that means is that spacer is broken and moisture has now gotten in there. Sometimes you see it in the form of mildew. But bottom line, if there's anything on the inside surfaces of that double pane glass, then your insulated glass needs to be replaced. If it's on the outside of the glass, that's a different story. That's something you can clean or we can deal with, but it doesn't mean that your window is bad. If it's on the inside, meaning in between the two panes of glass on the inside, then what we need to do is we come out to your house, measure for the window, and then we custom make the two pieces of glass with a new spacer sealing that together. It takes us about a week to make that. And then when we come back to your house, we don't need to take the whole window out. All we do is we put the new glass in, take the old glass out, the way that the window is designed to come apart. So that's what needs to happen. It's the only way to take care of that. You really need to replace that seal that holds the two pieces of glass together.
No, it's true. And John, a lot of people don't realize you have to do both, because this is a sealed system. And if it's not, this just keeps happening over and over again. So I get calls on the show. Well, I called window replacement companies to fix my window. And that's not who you call, because they're going to replace all your windows. You really need to call someone like Glass Doctor for something like that. There is a difference between window replacement companies and window repair, glass repair companies, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times those window companies will tell you to call us, and we'll
yeah, they will. They just don't do that.
Yeah, so they don't want to. Yeah, in fact, you were saying to me when we were talking about this yesterday that you actually get referrals from Gulf Coast Windows on a fairly regular basis.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's one more here. Kurt in Tomball. Nope, that's not Kurt. Here's Kurt in. No, where did Kurt go? I don't know where Kurt went. I've got the wrong question teed up here, don't I?
Nope, that was right.
Was it?
Back one more was.
Yeah. Okay. Now hang on. This is the one I'm looking for. Nat in Jersey Village.
Yep. Yeah, that's like Kurt, Nat, same thing.
Kurt, Nat. It's single syllable, starts with a consonant, ends with a consonant vowel in the middle. That's how I got confused. Yeah. All right, so a balanced spring assembly for Nat's window has fallen apart, and she says she can get. Where can she get these assemblies? Can they be replaced? This doesn't sound like a do-it-yourself job, John.
It can be. You might need a little bit of advice or assistance, but that's what we're here for. So Nat's well ahead of the game because she already knows what this is called. It's the thingies on the side of your window that support your window, because window sashes are too heavy to lift up and they won't stay up on their own, so they need some type of support. And so most people just call them thingabobbers that are dangling down below your window. So the 2 times a year you open your window and you see a piece of metal sticking out the bottom, or you see some strings hanging out there, then you know you need a new window balance. So I brought a couple props here today. We have one channel balance. Sometimes they look like this, and they have a little pulley system with springs in here. And this is something with a little assistance, and you could purchase this yourself, but you would need somebody who can take the right measurements and tell you about the proper end pieces you have. But on the windows that Nat mentioned, she very likely has a spiral balance like this, if you can see it all right. And this is just made up, we say spiral because you see the spirals here, and it has a lot of tension on it. So what happens is this gets wound up very, very tightly, and you have a special tool to wind this up, and that creates the tension and the strength to provide the resistance against your window sash. So we need to take the old ones out, measure these, put the right ones in. Very likely we have them in stock here, and pretty painless process. You do need a special tool. You do need to be able to wind these back up without them releasing and shooting out at you. But other than that, it is something that could be done on a DIY basis.
All right, John, do you have the tool at your place?
Of
Do you
course.
sell the tool?
No, we do not.
You do not sell the tool.
No.
I just
no.
threw mine
They're
away.
guarded
I had
pretty-
mine for years. I don't use it anymore. I just redid my garage and it went out in the trash. But it's an unusual tool that's hard to find. That's the problem.
We guard them. We don't want to let them out of our sight. So no way. So the ones we have here, we definitely don't sell them because it is a lost skill. Not
I
many
should have
people can
given you
find to do
mine. Okay.
Now that should have went to your garage sale. I didn't know.
It's about that long. It's a little. You can make one out of a coat hanger. You know that, don't you? And just sling it up in there.
Yeah, we had those kind in an apartment we were living in once upon a time when we first lived here in Houston. And you're right. I mean, all of a sudden that thing was just hanging out of there, and we used to have to put a book up to keep the window open. And it was an apartment, so we weren't invested in getting it fixed. So, and that was long before I met Tom and knew anything about home improvement. So, hey, thanks.
I would have given you my tool.
Loretta, Laurel, Tim, Rodney, Frank, thank you for joining us. I presume you brought your tools as well. It's the tools optional show here. Yeah, so I think that's all our questions we had for you here today. And I appreciate you coming today, John. Glass Doctor, you are complete. You do commercial work as well, right? I mean, so it's not just for in the home.
That's right. Commercial storefront. We do home and residential auto as well.
And before we go, I need you to introduce us. In the background there, I see you've got these your youngins back there behind you. Yeah, you thought you could get away without this, didn't you?
Well, I need to be careful because those aren't my youngins in that picture. I'm sitting in a different office today.
Really? Okay. I think there's a longer story here. Is that the program?
Well,
You're
just
using
now
somebody
put
else's
somebody
office?
kids on the internet, so that's not a good sign.
There you go. They came with the frame. Is probably the best answer for you today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for saving me on that one.
All right.
This office has better lighting.
Oh, okay. There
Hey,
you
John.
have it.
I just got to tell everybody that's watching that people don't realize how dangerous your job really is. Dealing with glass, and I have a friend of mine that spent months in a hospital. When he was young, he was working with a glass company. The glass broke. I don't know how many, over 1,000 stitches he had in his body because he took the brunt of the break. And when you work with glass, and I warn do-it-yourselfers all the time, this is really dangerous work. You've got to have the suction cups. You've got to have the transport for it. You have to really know what you're doing. So I want them to understand that the business you have, it sounds like fun, mirrors and everything, but it can be deadly if you have an accident.
Thank you for bringing that up. The other thing that people need to consider, the listeners of your show, they need to make sure they have somebody who's insured in their home because people can get hurt.
Yeah.
And it does happen. And there are a lot of people in this city and many other cities that they absolutely aren't insured.
Good points. Very good points. And
Well,
you got to be careful if you're a do-it-yourselfer. Working with glass can be dangerous. I know some is tempered, so it won't be as dangerous, but it can be deadly. You can lose a hand. You can lose all kinds of stuff.
Well,
You gotta be careful.
and the one way to make sure you have somebody who is insured is to go ahead and check out one of our Home Show pros. You'll find them all right here on the homepage at homeshowradio.com. You go down there, we got them all down the side in all kinds of categories. We've done the legwork for you on this already, and we have the people that you can trust, like John at Glass Doctor. So, John, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So, Tom, we have a few more questions that we did not get to.
Okay, well, dinner will be shorter then. I will have a quick cook dinner. No,
well, some might say neither one of us have missed a lot of meals.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
All right. Kathleen.
Go ahead, bring them on.
Here you go. Kathleen and Victoria, real quick. We'll go through these. And by the way, if all y'all have questions that you want to send, we still have room. We can get them in here, and we'll put them up and answer them. So Kathleen and Victoria says, I'm redoing a 100-year-old pier and beam farmhouse. And in the past, the piers were open. Rodents were a major problem, so I want to close in the crawl space. I have wooden floors in at least half the house, and I'm concerned about ventilation. What are your suggestions, Tom?
You can close it in with a skirt, but you have to have ventilation too. Or you can close it in with masonry. I'm not sure how the style of the house is, and I've built a lot of pier and beam homes or crawl space homes, and we always had ventilation, but they have to be prepared so rodents, cats, dogs, everything else, they just can't get through underneath the house. And there's a product called 1/8" hardware cloth that is like a wire mesh with 1/8" squares. It's used in all kinds of applications to keep rodents out of all kinds of areas. I remember working on an exotic bird farm once, and we used it to make the cages so the rats and the snakes couldn't get up and eat the parrots and all the different birds. So it works very well, and if you do that and you create a vent, but you have this screen behind it that's secured properly, and you can do decorative things on the front, so it looks really cool. But it's not just a window screen. The 1/8" hardware cloth keeps the rodents out.
All right. So, and that'll most importantly keep the ventilation in, since she has.
You've got to have 1 square foot of opening for every 150 square feet of floor space underneath the house. And that's the same for an attic. Those are your minimum standards.
I stand firm that there'll be no math on this show.
Yeah, we just did some.
Okay. Kurt in Tumble has our last question here today, unless all you all have one, you want to send it in to us. Kurt writes, I have a few odds and ends projects I want to do around the house, but I wasn't sure if I should engage the trades individually or maybe go through a general contractor of some kind to handle it. He wants to replace his kitchen fluorescent lights with can lights and replace all the ceiling fans, replace a faucet, hardware, retile part of the house and stuff. Tom, where do we send somebody who wants to do this kind of variety of work?
Well, it depends how extensive it is. If it's just small projects, and you make a list, then you could go to our website and pick out each contractor and you decide what your priority is. You want to start with tile? Then, if you have a tile project, you call Texas Floors. You need painting and sheetrock repair, you call Rudy's Quality Painting. But if projects are a little bigger, if you're doing entire rooms and it's getting painting and molding and tile and all this, then you call Trifection and they do what's called the whole house remodel, where all those odds and ends become one big job. So, you can talk to all these people. They can come out. They can give you an idea of what you should be doing and who you should be calling and whether it's a project for them. But what that list you just threw at me, that was quite extensive. So organize it, decide how big it is, go to someone. I say homeshowradio.com, look at our list of contractors. If you want to call one at a time, just make a priority what's important to you first. Don't try to just shotgun it all over the place. It gets overwhelming and then you never get it finished.
Shotgun. Yeah,
Junior
Walker and the All-Stars, I think. Chad's probably downstairs cussing because
I have no idea.
I get those wrong. He's always quick to tell me at the end of the show. No, that's those Cannonball Adderley, whatever. All right, well that's gonna do it for us today. This is the time we got, and we appreciate all y'all being with us here today. Man, we got a bunch of folk who came in. It was great having you here. We do this every Thursday where we answer your questions, and then Tom, of course, is with you all the weekend.
That's right, from 9 to noon on Saturday and 8 to 11 this Sunday, because the Texans, I don't think the Texans are playing at all. I think they're off this week. But either way, whatever the case may be, we have a full regular schedule this weekend on Sports Radio 610.
I saw a story this week that somebody suggested that maybe it's time to trade J.J. Watt. And I was thinking, how is that possible? Then I read that Springer may not be back next year. I'm thinking, it's like, just stop 2020 now, will you please?
I know, but look back at what Jimmy Johnson did with the Cowboys. He traded Herschel Walker at a time when Herschel was peaking, and he got 7 good players out of it, and 1 year later they won the Super Bowl. Sometimes you trade your good player for a bunch of good but not as good one player, and you get a team again, because right now they need a team. They don't need one player. And JJ, he'll have a good opportunity wherever he goes. Good man.
Fair enough. Another good man is Danny Milliken. You find him and the HomeShow Garden Pros on Saturday morning, 7 to 9 a.m., and they're part of the HomeShow family as well. And Tom, I appreciate your time today. Thanks for helping us out. And I'll see you on the radio on Sunday when we do early edition, and we'll see all y'all next Thursday here with AskTom.
You fabricate.
Got a question? Ask Tom on HomeShow Radio. HomeShow Radio. Free advice from a pro who knows. HomeShow Radio. HomeShow